Well, hello there. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Gerard, Witch of Earth's Curious Goods, and today's video is dedicated to those that commented eggs on one of my previous videos on eggshells. And by commenting, that means you were requesting how to use eggshells in modern spells. So that's what today's video is all about. I want to show you not just for protection, but you can use those eggshells in other things too. So if this sounds interesting to you, keep on watching. And without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so we're gonna need a few things, right? We're gonna be doing some spells, so eggshells are going to be super important for today's video because it's all about eggshells. So get your hands on some eggs, and I can understand too, I keep forgetting that some people are vegan, some people are also vegetarian, so eggs may not be something that's in your household, but maybe there's friends that have eggs or, you know, are going to discard their eggshells. See if you can get your hands on some. Maybe it's being discarded, and if anything, you're preventing it from going into the trash dump. So put it to some good use. Put it to some witchcraft, right? So with those eggs, they could either be white or brown. For purposes of today's video, I'm going to be using brown eggshells because I feel like they're not used a lot in magic, at least what I've come across in my own experience. I see a lot of the white eggshells being used, but the brown eggshells are just as great. I've been using it for many years with great success, so yeah. So for the sake of this video not being so terribly long, I've already grinded up my eggshells, and so I used my mortar and pestle. I took the eggshells and I grinded it all up, and then I put it into my herb grinder and I made it into as powdery as possible. For the next few spells that I'm going to show you or ways to use it, the powdery form works best, I found, but make the magic your own, see what works for you, but I did find that the powder version just works so much better. So now let's just pretend that this is your space, okay? Don't forget, eggshells are great for protection, right? So in the previous videos that I showed you how that it's protective and you know, creating boundaries within the home. So don't forget that you can use it for those of you that actually do circle casting or casting your circle or creating a liminal space. Just take some and just imagine that this is your circle. You're just going to sprinkle it around. Okay, even if it's just an invisible barrier, like maybe you're just doing a real quick protection spell, and for those of you that are just, you know, doing an invisible circle, this actually helps out. Plus vacuuming it up later on, maybe you just don't want it on your carpet or so forth, it's easy to vacuum up. But as you can tell, I just made a little circle here, and just imagine you just being in the center of it, and now you have the properties of the eggshells protecting you. Another great way, I have an abalone shell that I use to keep my sage smudge, my palo santo, anything that I'm using to cleanse. I use my abalone shell. Maybe you have a little tin box or something that you keep it in. But what I like to do, and I found it to be very effective, is if I like to keep my palo santo and my sage smudge in my abalone, but then I also will sprinkle the eggshells over it. And I'll keep it inside of here, just give it a little oomph to the cleansing properties of my smudging utensils. So my Palo Santo stick gets that little eggshell properties. My sage bundle here also gets some of the eggshell properties. So it gives it that little oomph to anything that is protective or cleansing. So don't forget that you can use it that way as well. Another simple way is just giving it as an offering. So if you do deity work or you're working with certain spirits, I have found that eggshells are another way of giving or doing petition work, or if this is an offering, this is what I'll usually sprinkle some onto the offerings that I'm actually giving to my deity. I worship God, so I do sprinkle a little bit onto the offerings, along with other things, of course, but make the magic your own. Don't forget that you can use eggshells in that aspect. Eggshells are still very coveted even today, okay? Back then in ancient times, even in modern times, so just utilize it like that. Another wonderful way is to utilize it in your moon water or your sun water. This is my moon water. I always like to add just a pinch or two into my actual waters, okay? Helps enhance the actual benefits of it. I shake it around and there we go. Now it's mixed in with it, so it gives it that cleansing property. Eggs are also associated with abundance and prosperity. Think of just an egg in general, how it's keeping the chicken inside of it safe. It's giving it protection from outer elements, gives it the ability to breathe. It's applying everything that's necessary for that chicken to grow and to be successful in life. So same thing with my moon water. I like to add it to my moon water, just a little bit, not a lot. Now you can add as much as you want, whatever resonates, but I only add a few pinches and I notice that it works wonders. Another awesome way to use your actual eggshell powder is to actually put it into your bath, right? You can sprinkle a little bit in your bath before you get into the bath. You don't have to put a lot, but just enough. Make sure, of course, if you have like extreme allergies or something, maybe you're allergic to eggshells, I don't know. Definitely check medically, you know, with that portion of your life if you're going to add eggshells to your bath. But I add it to my bath. It adds that little bit of cleansing. I'll put like a bath bomb in there and then put a little bit of eggshell powder, not a lot, to help with the cleansing properties. So not just the mundane version of it, but spiritually as well. And eggs have always been associated with that cleansing property, that protection property. So why not add it to your bath? Another great way to use eggshell powder is to put it onto your hands and rub it around, right? If you're going to be performing protection spells, why not put it onto your hands? Rub it onto some of your body parts, right? Add that eggshell properties, add that protection, the prosperity, the abundance, right? To help with external factors trying to influence your magic, your spell work. Use the eggshell powder. So I rub some onto my hands, kind of activate it, and then I go ahead and do my spell work. It doesn't have to be associated with protection. Maybe it's just normal spell work. Maybe you're about to do spell work for someone else. Putting a little bit of eggshell powder onto your hands before you actually be doing your motions and magics helps a whole bunch, gives it that little oomph. Now, the next things I want to show you is also other ways besides powdering it down. Maybe you just don't have a mortar and pestle. Maybe you don't have an actual herb grinder. Maybe it's just not within the budget. Perfectly fine. All you're going to need is the eggshells, right? You're also going to need some water. And with these eggshells, it's good for divination, right? If you're needing answers, if you're also wanting to know something, these eggshells are going to come in handy. What you're going to do is you're going to draw a pentacle. So these are two halves of the same egg, okay? You're going to draw a pentacle in the center of the eggshells, the inner part, okay? And a pentacle is just the star with a circle around it. Just make sure all the points of the star are touching the circle. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is a pentacle right in the middle here. Next, now that you have the pentacle, let's just say we want to know if someone likes you, if they are in love with you. You're going to write, and I'm not doing this spell. I don't really need that answer for anything right now. But you would write their name, first and last name, and your name, first and last name, okay? Now, with your power hand, if you're ambidextrous, you're going to use either one, but I'm right-handed. You're just going to take your pointer finger, put it into the middle of the water. Think of that person. Think of the answer you want to receive. Does John Doe like me? Does John Doe have a crush on me? Does John Doe want to marry me? Is John Doe cheating? You know, whatever answer that you're seeking, okay? Then all you're going to do is take your two halves and you're just going to place them in the water, okay? And you'll get your answer. Now, if they float together, I'll just give you some real quick things. If they float together and you wanted to know if they like you, the answer is obvious, okay? Now, if they float together and then they float apart, they're cheating or they don't like you. So wonderful ways to use eggshells in just your divination. Another good way to use your eggshells for divination too is if you're wondering if you are hexed, or maybe there's a curse, or maybe someone's trying to cast something on you, or if you're wondering if there's some bad juju attached to you, some bad energy attached to you. On the eggshells, your name is going to be on both of these. So it would be just Gerard Watt on this one, Gerard Watt on this one, okay? Then I would place it into the water. And with this one though, you're gonna place them on opposite ends, and if they go together, then there may be something attached to you, okay? If they are staying apart, there's nothing attached to you, you're cleansed, you're good, okay? Now, if it's together, then obviously you're gonna wanna cleanse and ground and do all the bits and then redo this divination again. But I love this particular divination with eggshells. It has worked wonders for me, especially when it's something quick, or I'm not near my tarot deck, or I'm not receiving any kind of visions, then I will do this eggshell divination. It works wonders. Try it out. All right, another great thing that we would like is you're going to take your egg, and this time though, we want it to be kind of whole. We only want a opening in one side of the egg, so you almost have a whole egg with the opening at the top of it, or the bottom, whatever, but we need an opening to be able to place something inside of it. Here, we're going to write on the outside of it, you're going to write what you want to manifest, okay? So I am abundant. I am prosperous. I am prosperous. I am protected. So on mine, I just have, I am prosperous, I am protected. On the side that doesn't have the hole on the egg, you're going to draw the pentacle. Once again, it is a circle with a star in it, and the points of the star touching the circle. You're like, Gerard, why do we keep drawing the pentacle on things? The pentacle helps bring things together, brings unity, it brings in the element. You guys know I'm an elemental witch, so I love working with the elements, but not just that. This also represents this plane of existence, our material plane, so it helps the magic manifest here a lot easier, quicker. So I do find using the pentacle very, very handy. Now, you're going to need a brown piece of paper. If you don't have a brown piece of paper, make the magic your own. You guys know I am a hooker when it comes to a brown piece of paper. So you just take a brown paper bag and just make sure there's no straight edges, and you just, if you see my previous videos on petition work, if not, I'll link it down in the description box if you have not seen the petition videos, but yes, I love brown paper. You're gonna need a permanent marker, the same marker, you know, that you did the wording on the eggs and did the pentacle is perfectly fine. But on your petition paper, you're going to be a lot more specific, okay, on what you're wanting. What do you want to manifest, okay? So you're just gonna write that on the paper, being as detailed as possible. Once you write that on, you're just going to sign your name. You're gonna fold it towards you because you want it to come towards you. Clockwise. Fold towards you, clockwise. Fold towards you. And you just want it to get as small as possible so it can fit inside of the egg. All you're gonna do is place it in the egg. Now the key to this is you have to keep this safe. Obviously it's really fragile, so keep it safe where no other people will come across it, where your animals or your pets aren't gonna get into it and break it, or children and so forth, whatever your household looks like. But keep this safe until it manifests. When it manifests though, you're gonna give thanks, but you're gonna wanna bury this, okay? If you are one of those practitioners that you just don't like influencing the environment, you don't really like burying things, then you can just dispose of it naturally into, you know, however method you use, trash, whatever the case is. But always give thanks to close out your workings, to explain that you are grateful for the things that you have received from the spell work. I am a very firm believer in that. Well, there you go. A few modern spells, a little twist with adding some eggshells into them, and nothing too extravagant, right? These are so simple to do. They can be integrated within your practice really easily, whether the powder form, whether it's just the eggshells, or both. But try out a few of these. And I'm kind of curious, if you use eggshells in your practice, comment down below on some of the ways maybe you use eggshells and help out the community and maybe someone else's practice, even myself. I'm kind of curious. I also want to just take a minute to thank all of you. I appreciate all of you for being here, watching my videos, liking and sharing and all of the bits, subscribing. And I want to particularly thank my channel members, in particular, shout out to Skinny Gal 269. It's you guys are helping keep this channel alive and keep things running over here, so I appreciate you. And as always, stay earthy, stay magical. Bye for now.